Do extroverts have more charisma than introverts? What does charisma even mean? That's what we're going to be talking about today on the Introvert Experience. What's up, everybody? This is Terrence, aka the Introvert Leader. Welcome to the show, and I wanted to talk about this because it's a buzzword that I hear a lot, in particular in leadership and in the corporate world and even in the business world, where you hear people talk about charisma or the it factor, or certain people that walk into a room and they're able to just get things done. People flock to them, or people are motivated by them. This concept of charisma. So I really wanted to talk about that as it relates to introversion and extroversion. And I think it's a very interesting topic because a lot of people, when they hear words like that, I think they just automatically go into a mode where they assume that's an extrovert, right? Like, oh, the person with charisma, the person that people are drawn to has more of an extroverted personality. That's just a natural reaction that a lot of people have when they hear words like that. Being an author, I really, and I say this all the time, words matter, right? So I did want to read the definition of what charisma is and then kind of go from there. So charisma, as defined by Webster's, is compelling attractiveness or charm that can inspire devotion in others. Compelling attractiveness or charm that can inspire devotion in others. So let's think for a minute about what an introvert is and what an extrovert is. So from the base definitions, it is really based on stimulus. So someone that is more introverted is oftentimes going to draw energy from time alone. Someone that is more extroverted is oftentimes going to draw their energy from time around people. And there are several people that are in between, right? Which is going to be more of your ambivert. So that's the person that's kind of right in the middle of those two things. They're going to draw some energy from being around people, but they'll also draw energy from time alone as well. And the other nuance in all of this as well, and I talk about this all the time, is there's truly nobody that is on one extreme or the other. So you're not going to find someone that literally is just in their house and never around people ever at all, right? And you're also not going to find people that are just always around people all of the time, never to themselves at all. You typically are going to find people that are somewhere on that scale of introversion and extroversion. Now, some people are very extreme to one side or the other. You have some people that prefer to not be around people at all. They really would rather be in their house, but at some point they are going to interact with others. And then you have people that prefer the company of other people, and being to themselves is like, oh my God, how could I even do that, right? But that's really what introversion and extroversion are at their core. I think a problem that comes in is this perception that when someone hears the word introvert, they just assume that person lacks charisma. That person lacks that it factor. When that person's in the room, they're not going to draw people to them because they're an introvert. They're not going to be able to make moves or be able to network because they're an introvert. I think there are a lot of people out there that assume that. And I'll even say it's not just extroverts that assume it about introverts. I think a lot of introverts assume it about themselves. I will tell you for myself, when I used to hear words like charisma and pizzazz or whatever you want to call it, I didn't really think of me. I thought of the person that walked in a room and was loud. I thought of the person that went to a networking event and left with 50 business cards because they talked to every single person there. That's what I used to think of. And I think we need to look at words like this very differently. We need to look at a lot of these concepts very differently.
How do introverts lead in an extroverted world? A world where the loudest voices and the most social people seem to thrive. Well, there's a secret that any introvert can turn into a superpower. That secret is calmness. To learn how to transform your leadership as an introvert, download the Calm Effect today.
See, charisma, if we reread that definition, right? Compelling attractiveness or charm that can inspire devotion in others. So now we have to ask the question, can an introvert inspire other people? I would say absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. What is it about being an introvert that would make you not be able to inspire somebody? I would say and challenge, would you say that Mark Zuckerberg has inspired people? Being the creator of Facebook, now Meta, one of the world's largest social media platforms. Would you say that Oprah Winfrey, media mogul, has inspired people? Would you say that former President Barack Obama inspired people as President of the United States when he was in office? See, these are people that are introverts. A lot of people wouldn't assume that because when you hear those names, you might think, oh, well, they're well known and they speak in front of other people and they have these large, huge platforms, so they can't be introverts, right? Well, no, they actually are. So if you're an introvert listening to this and you view yourself a certain way, you don't think you have charisma, or you don't think you can go into rooms and make an impact, or you don't think you can be in meetings and can be someone that inspires other people, I would definitely challenge that notion, because charisma and it factor and all of these things have nothing to do with being an extrovert or an introvert. I truly believe that charisma is exactly as the definition says. Do you have the ability to inspire other people? Do you have a compelling attractiveness when you walk into a room? Are you authentically yourself when you're in a space? See, these are the things that charisma is based on. So regardless of if you're listening to this and you're introverted or extroverted, ambivert, in between, don't associate charisma with extroversion, and don't associate it with not being an introvert. There are just so many of these myths and so many of these things I feel as a society that it's time for us to challenge, okay? So I hope you found this to be helpful. Share this with a fellow introvert. If you're an introvert listening to this, share this with an introvert that needs to hear it. Because I think a lot of people miss this message, and a lot of people have no idea what, again, the words introvert and extrovert even mean. And also share it if you have an extroverted colleague or somebody that you feel views introverts as these people that just sit in the house and can't inspire anybody and, you know, they're helpless or something. And if you know somebody that feels that way, you should share this with them as well, all right? So really quick before we go, I did want to just give a huge shout out to everybody that has gotten their copy of my new book, The Calm Effect, 5 Keys for Introverts to Succeed Without Stress and Lead with Poise. Definitely appreciate all of the love that you all have been showing. All the positive reviews and everything have been amazing. So for those that have not gotten a copy, you can go to terrencelee.com to get your signed copy today. Really appreciate the support, and it's just been awesome to hear all the reader feedback. And so always remember, there's only one you and there's only one life. So make it count. God bless.